Hey everybody! Okay, so I wanted to do this video to talk a little bit about the calf muscle, the soleus muscle, the gastrocnemius muscle in the calf. Now, there's a specific reason why I don't do calf raises. And the main reason is because of this picture right here. Now, this is showing you when the calf muscle complex has to do the most amount of work in pushing you forwards. Now, what that gastroc and soleus is doing at this point, obviously with a bent knee, the soleus muscle is more active. The gastroc is actually quite silent at this point. It doesn't do much work when the knee is bent. Now in running, the knee is bent at all times. But specifically in this position, we can see how much further forward of the toes the knee is, and we can see how bent that knee is. So we can really see that the soleus muscle is doing the most amount of work here. Now you can see that the weight of this runner is already ahead of the foot. So really that soleus muscle is going to be pushing the ball of the foot down while the weight of the runner goes over the top of the standing leg. So it doesn't really need to produce that much force until this particular point. Most of the force that the gastroc and the soleus, specifically the soleus, is doing is at the landing point and just after the landing when loading occurs. Now at this point, the soleus muscle is going to be very active and it's going to be pushing the foot downwards into the ground to propel the body forwards and to get the heel up. Now, I'm going to flick forward to what a typical heel rise exercise would be, and that just kind of shows you there what this exercise is doing. It's really getting you up onto the ball of your foot, and there we can see right there that you're actually pushing upwards and also backwards, because when you get to the top of your heel raise, you can see that you're pushing backwards because the forefoot, where the pivot point is actually in front of where the load is. Now the load is behind the pivot point, so you're pushing upwards rather than propelling your body forwards. Now this is the key here, in that how we load this muscle specifically to gait shouldn't be like this, because this position never occurs, and specifically with the calf muscle complex, the gastroc is relatively quiet. So this is what we've got to think of here. Loading that muscle specifically in this position, in how we want it to occur. And this is one of the things that we do in the runner's rehab, is to get you into this position as you load the soleus muscle. The resistance band is actually providing the correct resistance in the right place at the right time to allow this soleus muscle to be loaded effectively. Because we want to propel the body forwards, not upwards and backwards. And that is why strength is specific to the movement. And in this case, not just the movement, but the muscles. And in every case, the muscles that are producing that movement. In this case, particularly, we've got a completely different muscle action occurring. We've got heightened activity in the soleus, not in the gastroc. In this particular situation, we've got the opposite. We've got the gastroc being used lots, being contracted hard to produce this movement, but the soleus is relatively inactive. And that is what we do with this exercise, or the sling method exercise in the runner's rehab. We produce this particular state in the movement that we do.